Hello and welcome to another video, guys. Today we'll be carrying on with our quick look at Tera, and I decided to make a new character because I wanted to have a more tank focused build, and I think the Lancer, which is what I picked, is quite a good one. I decided, obviously named him Leon as well, and I wanted to make sure I got that name. And as you can see straight off, there's some nice touches that you don't see in other MMOs, like the ladder climbing and that kind of thing. That gives it a bit more of an action game feel. The one thing I did find a bit strange is how long it takes him to get up from the ladder, but that's a minor niggle. I think the gameplay looks great, and where we are now is actually in a prologue, so the little bit before the actual main story starts. So if you can see in the top left corner, I'm actually level 20 already, and they've unlocked a few skills for me to use. I think it's to give you a better feel of the game and what it's like a little later. I'm not actually sure what the maximum level is at the moment anyway, but I will have to check that out. So I'm guessing it's around 60. I think I've seen some people looking for it in the chat at about 60, but I'll confirm that and make a note on here. The gameplay is very interesting. It's a sort of part sort of action game, part MMO, sort of traditional click and press sort of gameplay. As you can see, you steer and have to actually aim your abilities, like if you're in an FPS or something, which is incredibly difficult, and there's a bit of a fail coming up here. I can sense it. I'm gonna drop off, but yeah, and it works pretty well, and you have some nice platforming bits. The actual button presses are all really fluid. They don't take long to actually activate the skills. As a Lancer, I've got a basic attack which is on my left mouse button, my guard on my right mouse button, and that basically I actually need to activate the defense, unlike many of the other MMOs where your character automatically has defense rating or block rating and dodge and all that sort of thing. You actually have to block like that, and if you get a successful block, then you take far less damage or none at all. I'm not too sure about that. I need to actually check, but it does look really quite interesting, and you do have to focus on your blocking, watch the enemy's attack patterns, and actually click it in advance just so he can raise his shield up. We skip those mobs there to jump into a larger pack with a bit of variety, and here's a priest character, and these guys are really tough. They're all focusing on me. My blocking abilities a little fail at times. It's either I stand and block all the time and take a little bit of damage, or I go defensive. And I've got one heal and potions to use, so there I use my heal, which doesn't do very much, but at least it keeps me alive a little longer. I have to use a potion now as well. Well, I try run away. I'm not too sure of all the skills and what they do yet, because there's quite a few, and I only just found out that my number 5 ability actually gets me to leap back like that, and that could have saved me quite a few times, especially against the guys with the swords smacking me. But I'm still also getting used to, you've got to actually be aware of which way you're facing, otherwise you'll actually just swing backwards. None of this auto attack, you just stand in front of them and then press your buttons in the best possible rotation or anything like that. You actually have to watch and keep an eye on what's going on. So I just about survived that, and I think the prologue's coming to an end soon. I heal up a little bit, and now Elion, I think that's how you say his name, we're about to group up with some of his fellow soldiers and actually advance and take out some big monster. Apparently is at the end of the road. One interesting thing is, because your mouse controls all the movement, if you press Alt, then you can actually free your mouse up and go and click and hover over your skills so you can actually see what they are. And that's, to start with, I was wondering what all my skills were because I didn't know how to hover over them, so it's good to know. And here's the big monster at the end. He looks pretty damn cool. I think he's got some awesome armor on. He's a bit of a fatty, so I decided why not just charge straight in there. He's got 3 eyes and a bit of hairy chappy, which is cool. One nice thing, if you notice, you can see he's a quest monster because he's got that little exclamation mark above his head, and I later found out that all creatures or things that you do need for quests actually have that above their heads as well. I'm sort of struggling here trying to work out whether to just block his attacks, whether to taunt him, to tank him. I'm quite low in health as it is. The computer keeps on prompting me to actually taunt him, so I decide to do it, and then I actually fail with one of the blocks and take quite a huge amount of damage. I slowly start to learn his pattern. He does one swing with one arm, then the other, and then a double-handed attack. He also does that charge move, which can be quite devastating if you get cut underneath it. I have obviously a shield bash, which is my interrupter, which I didn't use to very good effect, I must say. As I attack with my left mouse button, I recharge my mana, which is then used. Oh, I died there, but at least you can instantly respawn. I don't know if it's like that in the main part of the game, so I haven't died yet, but you seem to get a debuff as well from dying, but I'll have to confirm that. One of the nice things though is the different variety in the moves, as you have surprisingly some good sort of differences. I've got a cleave attack on my number 1, a shield bash, a charge attack, and then a thrusting sort of repetitive attack, and then the leap back, as well as my taunts and other aggressive sort of buffs. So it's quite good. It looks phenomenal. I think the way they've done the damage showing up looks really good. Very clear for you to see. All the creatures make big gestures, so it shouldn't take you too long to learn how to block them. And I'm definitely not sort of the best, and I got most of those there, apart from the last one, of course. It seems so you can get knocked down as well, which you actually have to actively get yourself back up, which is quite an interesting mechanic. I'm not sure how that would work. Sort of later in the game, a PvP, it might be really helpful. And there is PvP and battle and instances and everything in it, so I think it's quite a, from what I've heard, quite a deep sort of MMO, considering it's going free to play. I think it's well worth looking into it, because I don't see too many other games, and their free to play model rather is actually a good one. Unlike Star Wars: The Old Republic, you don't actually lose anything. All the free to play things that they're actually going to be charging you for to actually get their revenue stream will come from extra bonuses, sort of XP and that kind of thing, as well as several cosmetic items, which I think is the best way to go about it. Nothing that actually spoils the game for people that don't play. But thanks for watching, and this is the end of the prologue, and I'll be putting up the next part of the video soon, which will basically jump into the main game where you start at level 1. Thanks for watching. Bye.